in the Super Bowl. It is the New England Patriots going up against the Seattle Seahawks. And who better to talk to about the quarterback for the Patriots, Drake Maye, than his former football coach, Mack Brown. Mack, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. I want to start here. I don't know if you remember this, but back in March of 2024 at UNC's Pro Day, you said that Drake Maye is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. What gave you the confidence before he even stepped foot onto a football field that he would be in this position?
Logan, he's got the it factor. And it's just, he's very competitive. He's very confident, but he's got a very unique humbleness, and he hadn't changed. And I saw that. He was National Player of the Year as a rookie for us. And he took us to a conference championship game. We had a chance to beat Clemson and weren't very good on defense. So I just watched him make plays. I watched how he competed. He's the kind of guy that when he walks in a room, everybody stops and turns and looks. And they want to go up and hug his neck and take a picture with him and get him to sign an autograph. And he's just kind of captured all the people in Boston, it looks like. And I know that I put my schedule around his games so I can watch him play because I enjoy watching him play. And at the same time, I go back and love um, him making the same plays at New England that he made for us. And people will say, "Gosh, have you ever seen that before?" And I said, "Yeah, I saw him pitch a ball with his left hand at Pittsburgh to score a touchdown. I saw him come back twice to beat Duke late in ball games when we had no chance to do it. And I saw him leap people. I had to talk to him about sliding. But he's a guy that when you watch him play, you watch him interact with people. He just has it.
They always knew that they're going to be an NFL quarterback. But can you believe that just 2 years in the league, Drake Maye is playing in a Super Bowl?
No, because the only concern I had, and I think he would tell you the same, is he only played 2 years in college football.
Mhm.
He's 23 years old. So he is the second youngest quarterback to ever be in a Super Bowl. Dan Marino was the youngest. Dan didn't win. So if Drake wins, he'll be the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. He's the only quarterback to play in a Super Bowl from North Carolina. So he is carving out some very unique situations for himself that none of us are surprised about.
So you just said you're not surprised about this. Why?
I'm not surprised because I saw him. He was National Player of the Year as a freshman for us, and again, he's so humble that after the year, the administration says, Drake's the National Player of the Year. We're going to put his name in the stadium. So I'm all excited. I go to Drake and I say, "Hey, bud, they're going to put your name in the stadium." And he said, "I don't want it. I don't think it should be out there while I'm playing with this team because this team it made it where I could be the National Player of the Year coach. So let's wait till I get through." And that's just who he is. Then I said, "What about senior day, the second year? You should walk on senior day so the fans can say thank you to you." And he said, "Coach, I'm not graduating, so I shouldn't walk. That's for people who graduate, and I'll graduate at some point, but that wouldn't be fair to the others." So that's how humble he is. So when they've got all these MVP chants as he's walking on and off the field, he always deflects it to somebody else. But winning the Super Bowl would be a lot more important to Drake than winning the Most Valuable Player award.
Why is it that he has these qualities of being a humble human being? Like you've just mentioned so many stories about it.
Yeah, I think it has to go back to mom and dad. I've told mom and dad they should write a book on how to raise kids because they've got four, and they're all great young people that are very successful and very positive. And the other thing, Drake has great faith, and that comes from mom and dad too. He usually starts his press conference with "Thank you, God," and um, he reaches out to so many people and he wants to help people. He and Sam are involved in a charity in Chapel Hill called Table that they come home every summer and raise a lot of money, and it's for hungry kids in Orange County, and that's just who they are. They're givers, not takers.
I love that. Okay, so Mac, you've talked so much about Drake May just as a human being, but let's talk a little bit about him on the football season, the football field, especially this year. He is having an MVP caliber season. Is there a point that this season you're watching him that you said, okay, this is going to be a very special year for Drake?
I think when they started winning on the road, it's so hard to win on the road. And then the Butte and Diggs, the two receivers, are really talented. They've got two very good running backs, but they're playing great defense. And so I just saw over time it just kept coming together. And also you have to have a very unique relationship with your play caller. And he and Josh McDaniels seem to really have hit it off. And we were lucky, Logan. We his last year when we had the coaching change, he came in and number one, people were trying to buy him from all over the country. He had a lot of tampering, and he said, "Coach, I know you're hearing rumors. I'm not going anywhere. I don't care. I'm staying here, so don't worry about that." And I said, "Well, we don't have a lot of money, but I'm going to try to get you some." And he said, "I don't care. Don't worry about that. Let's go win." And I said, "Well, we've lost our offensive coordinator. What are you looking for? What do you want?" Now, Logan, here's the National Player of the Year after his first year, and played in the conference championship game. And he says, "I need to work on my feet. I need to work on my presence in the pocket. Sometimes I drift into the pressure, and I want to work on my throwing motion. I want to be the best, coach, and if you can help me with that." So we were so lucky. In fact, he helped me interview two of the coaches, and we came up with Chip Lindsey, who had two current players in the NFL. In fact, he coached Stidham, who was the quarterback against Drake. So I talked to Chip last night and said, "You may be the only guy to ever have two quarterbacks in the semifinals going to the Super Bowl." And then we were so lucky to get Clyde Christensen. He had just retired from Tampa Bay. He won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and then he coached Jameis Winston and Andrew Luck. So, and the NCAA allowed analysts to start coaching. So Clyde coached him full time. So he was able his last year at Carolina to be coached by a guy who'd won a couple of Super Bowls and coached the best quarterbacks ever. And I think that really gave him a step forward as he went into the NFL.
Okay, so you just mentioned his growth at Carolina, but 2 years into the NFL, where do you think he's made the biggest improvements?
I think with his confidence, he is the play that he made Sunday where he slid with 1 second left um, in the half, and Coach Vrabel called a timeout as he was sliding. That's a veteran play. You don't make that play in your second year, and you're not aware. And most people would have run out of bounds late or slid and the clock run out. But that's another play that won the game, and that was so unique to watch him do that and have that awareness at his age.
Gosh, that must have been such a proud moment for you to watch him have that moment in the AFC Championship game. But he's had those moments all throughout the playoffs. He had to go through three of the top five defenses in the league to make it to the Super Bowl. At just 23 years old, what are the qualities that Drake Maye has that allows him to be so calm and live up to the big moments?
Well, he's a lot better athlete than people give him credit for, and you can see the way he runs. And he's tough. He's tough as nails. He played hurt some for us. He'd be banged up, and I'd say, "Why don't you back off on practice today? Don't throw as many balls." "No, coach, I need work," and that's just who he is. But I think it goes back to what I said earlier, Logan. He's got tremendous confidence, which you have to be in that position. He's so competitive. People just can't imagine how competitive he is because he's so nice, and he's got that smile, and he's gracious with people, but he's going to compete now, and it doesn't matter who it is or who it's against. He's going to try to win, which is a great quality. You can't be in that position without the confidence. You can't be there unless you're that competitor. But he's such a humble leader that people just want to follow him. So those guys in that locker room believe in him, and they know they're going to get everything he's got. They know they're going to get it every day at practice. They know they're going to get it every day in the game. And complacency is one thing that kills. It's hard to be great, but it's even harder to be great every day. And Drake Maye is great every day. They know every day they're going to get everything he's got, and it's there's not a bad bone in his body. A lot of guys might say something to your face and say something else behind your back. That's not Drake. You're going to get exactly who he is all the time, and those are the qualities that I love about him.
Mac, throughout this entire interview, I can't help but notice you have just smiled from ear to ear the entire time talking about Drake. What is the impact he's had on you, not only as a coach, but as a human being?
Well, he's one of those standard guys. I don't know that I'll ever coach again, but if I'm talking to coaches, you see qualities in a guy like Drake, and those are the qualities that you want in your team. So when you start looking at people you're going to hire, that people you want, when you start trying to help your family, you can learn so much from what Drake has done from start to finish, um, and know that there's still a lot of the story that's untold, and I just can't wait to watch it continue.
As his former coach, how proud are you of Drake?
I'm really, really proud. You know, it's interesting, Logan. I never pull for a pro team. I pull for the players. And that's what we've got. Chaz Surratt's going to be on special teams for Seattle, and he's a backup linebacker. So Chaz would call and say, "Who are you pulling for, coach? You pulling for Drake?" And I said, "Yes, I'm pulling for Drake, and I'm pulling for you. I want you two to have a great game, and I want you two to be really healthy. And I just don't choose which team I want to win, because that'd be very unfair, because I've had so many guys in the NFL that they would know I was being a fraud if I said I'm pulling for you. I'm not. So I don't go to their games, but I pull for them, and I try to watch them play every time that TV's on.
Yeah, better to keep your hands clean, right?
I got to keep them clean, and I got to be fair. I
No,
got to be
absolutely,
fair
coach.
to everybody.
Okay, so we talked. You said that you don't really call them at all during the season, but obviously Drake Maye is about to play in the biggest game of his life. If you're going to send him a text before this game, what advice are you going to give him?
I would tell him to enjoy it. You've earned it, and just be you. You've got a process. The process is working. It's like Logan when we were in the national championship game against USC, and then another one against Alabama. I told the guys, we're good enough. Let's just be us. Don't try to do too much, because that's when you get in trouble. And Drake's good enough. He just needs to go be Drake.
No doubt about it. He is good enough, and we are excited to watch the former Tar Heel play in the Super Bowl this coming Sunday. Thanks so much for the time, Mac. I seriously appreciate it so much.
Thanks, Logan. Thanks for having me on. I can't wait to see the game.